Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Long time no see. Let me check the audio levels because right now I have a new audio setup. I have a new microphone, Shure microphone. Let's see. I tried before stream with some recording and shit trying to set things up, but we'll see how it sounds live on the actual stream. So let's check with the Twitch first. Seems alright to me. How is it on y'all end? Do I sound too loud? Not loud enough? Shit like that. But Twitch sounds alright, at least for now. Right? Hello, hello. Okay, it sounds alright. How about YouTube? YouTube sounds alright as well. I hope everything sounds alright for y'all. Okay, let's bring in the monitor in here a little bit, and I think we're good to go. With my new mic setup, we'll see how that will work out. And hi yo, welcome once again to my stream after some big pause. Let's say lately my time budget when it comes to live shit is running super thin. I feel like most of the world in 2008 during the financial crisis, but instead of money, it's lacking time, right? Money as well, but the time budget is really severely stretched thin. But I still managed to do the stream for today. So let's jump right into it. We'll be doing more of game design, BS. Last time on stream, I was researching animating shit in engine, right? Playing around with it, etc. And I don't really remember what I finished on. Creating like anime montages. I think I finished on like skeletal mesh, creating a anime montage for that, etc, etc. Because what I really need is sometimes to quickly do some animation without relying on timeline components, etc, 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 right? And I tried a couple of ways, and one of which I actually liked the most for my bullshit prototypes here for my game. That is all about bow and arrow shooting. It will be more like a puzzle game where you're using your arrows to change the state of the world and solve puzzles, and that's the main mechanic, right? So, the thing is, if I remember correctly, sorry for that, I had slight throat problems. Because even though it's August, here where I live, autumn kinda started. Yesterday when I was with my partner and the kid, we were in the park nearby. You could call it park, I guess. We saw a huge amount of yellow leaves already lying on the floor, and we were like, holy shit, there was almost no summer in the place where I live here in Poland, and autumn already starts. What the fuck? So it means it's a throat problem seasons for me. Okay, but let's get back to Unreal Engine and development, or actually prototyping, right? I'm still in the prototyping phase for my game. And if I remember correctly, I created a quick level sequence helper library that allows for basically creating animations via level sequences, so I don't have to create skeletal mesh and then create control rig and then create anim montage to have a quick animation on a static cube or a cone or some other like simple fucking shape, right? None of that. Instead, quick level sequence, play around with it. Okay, save level sequence, delete it from the level. And I created this quick blueprint function, create level sequence for actor. And I created a component that you could always add to your actor, which I created a test for it, right? Test actor for it. Which right now I'm looking at it and I don't really remember how I set it up, really. Because there's like rotator target. Okay. So it tries to find at the begin play a component that is named rotator target, which means, yeah, because the idea was wait a second. I think I conflated a couple of things. Yeah, I created a rotator target that is supposed to just rotate anything it is attached to, right? And it is searching for a target. And it will rotate something 90 degrees. And that's kind of it. And we have a test actor for that when we just attached rotator cube base. And cube, I guess, has a tag of rotator target. So cube will be rotating in the local space 90 degrees when you shoot at it, right? And I have this blueprint function library. And right now I need to remind myself how I was using it. Basically at the begin play, I'm using that function. It creates level sequence actor and level sequence player immediately if I want to play an animation. Ah, yes. Now I remember. I wanted to add the fact that when I shoot at my rotator element, right? I wanted to react with animation, right? So I shoot it and it will go like bye in a cartoony way. And in the first prototype, I did it with the timeline object, with the timeline component. But I kind of want this because the rotator was not a component on its own. It was just a functionality of my propeller. Let me quickly show you. Yeah, I had this thing going on, right? Play from here. And I had this rotator. And as you can see, it is animating, but if we look at it, the whole rotation deal is part of kind of hardwired into the propeller that is able to move things with the wind. I still need to create some wind particles for that shit, I'll be honest. Alright, so yeah, we have some fire bubbles going in, but no wind to move them to this direction, so I'm shooting at it. And now bubbles are moving in the direction. I don't know why there's this bug, but I can shoot the bubble with spawn flames, which burns wooden logs, and now I can access my target, which is the star, right? And collect the star with my arrow, right? And this rotating cube is kind of hardwired to my propeller, right? So I thought, well, I could have lots of elements. I could create a visual language for a player. Hey, if you see this kind of cube on a stick, or whatever the final visualization will be for that, right? But if you have the cube on a stick attached to something, it means it will rotate. Rotate around the axis that it points to. If it is up, it will rotate up, left, x-axis, it will rotate around x-axis, y-axis, etc, etc, right? So I started thinking that this would be a cool thing, because maybe at first the player will be learning this visual language, and then maybe I will give player the power to shoot arrows that are creating this type of objects. I don't know. There's lots of, you know, ideas that could go in here, right? And then I created this component that generalizes the logic of rotation, and it is here. This time it is a blue cube, right? And it's awesome, but I still wanted to add the animation, and I was faced with the challenge that, well, I cannot just use timeline component here. I need to find another way of animating shit. That's why the previous stream was connected to, like, hey, in what way I could create quick animations that could be reusable without timeline component. And the way I found out the best for those shitty prototypes that I'm making is creating a level sequence, animating it via that. I created a helper blueprint function library function that creates like a level sequence for you, for the actor. So I am being given level sequence player and level sequence actor, right, for that stuff. And yeah, and then I can just take the level sequence actor, set sequence, and play it, right? So let's see if that actually works. What I found out during the last stream, whether it works or not. Shall we? So, and that's the thing, like, I want to have it in the component, not in the actor itself, right? So that's like a double challenge. And I'm using blueprints only because on the day-to-day basis I work with C++ code. And I kind of want to learn more about blueprints and what are the limits of it. There are several, to say the least. And get better with blueprints. And also it makes for a better stream, at least now, when I'm still learning how to do this shit correctly. I did one stream pure in C++ for game coding and it wasn't really well. So I still have, you know, ways to learn about how to do this shit. Alright, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this stuff. So, according to what I did in my last research, I need to just use that function. And on the begin play, I should just do that. Wait, what the fuck is face? Wait a minute. That's the wrong blueprint. Alright, I need to at some point... yeah, I haven't submitted to my repository for a long time. I need to submit it. Okay, we have this, blah, blah, blah. Now we are creating a level sequence for actor. Yeah, I'm really only interested in like setting up any animation. In here, but I might want to do like a actual custom event for that. Custom event, and that custom event will be named initialize level sequence anims. Initialize level sequence anim. Why am I doing it with custom events instead of functions? Well, I like the idea of Blueprint being visual scripting language, which means if I zoom out, I want to see everything in here, right? And so I can visually just scroll through this stuff and see, get a quick look-see about how it works, right? If everything is hidden inside of the functions, everything, and I just see 4 nodes in here, it is kind of, you know, applying C++ coding standards to blueprints, but it also makes it unreadable as a visual language, right? Because it's kind of like, okay, now I have to click through 15 functions, maybe go through like inheritance structure or whatever. That's not what I want to use blueprints for, right? I want to have it visible. And also, if I see that it becomes like a big spaghetti monster, I already know that it's time for some refactor. I fucked up something. I should clean this shit up, right? So adhering to that means that I can quickly fix mess, and for the repository that will be of a shipping game, I should put as many functionalities as I can in C++ in here if I need to just call functions, etc. Order of functions or whatever, right? Instead of like creating everything in Blueprint, right? So that's why I'm using custom events, because that way I can quickly just scroll through it visually and kind of get around of how it works. And it's just my personal taste. I know people are applying directly C++ standards to Blueprint, and that's okay if it works for them. For me, it makes it super hard to navigate because Unreal doesn't have the capabilities of IDE such as Rider, where I can quickly go through functions, etc., etc., and quickly get around inheritance structure, interfaces, etc., etc., right? So yeah, that's why I'm doing it that way. Okay, so I should call this function, right? Create level sequence for actor. And the actor is actually get owner. Not owner, get owner. So yeah, get owner, and I get like level sequence actor. So promote the variable cube anim level sequence actor, and promote the variable cube anim level sequence player, right? I have created quickly those things in the runtime of the game right now with this initialization, which is great. Maybe I also should do nah, that's alright. And according to, that's the funny thing, when I do research and development, I like to save those blueprints or whatever and have like an R&D postfix or prefix or whatever, because then it also serves as a documentation of what the fuck I was doing, right? So it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, so I don't remember that much, but I can just quickly take a look, like, that's how you use it, okay, and then you just set sequence and you just play it, and you can have different level sequences. That's great. Okay, so I can just be like, play arrow, hit Q. Here's the sound that I'm playing, and I can just play anim, right? Custom event, or maybe I could just go in here and be like, hey, let's just do exactly what I did in here. So I can set sequence of rotation of whatever the fuck anim I want, and then play it on a level sequence actor. Let's just do that exactly. But first, let's check if it is valid. Of course. Then I need to, just like I did in here, set sequence. Set sequence. Thank you. This will be a copyright strike against me. I need to change the fucking text message sound in my phone because it will get me a copyright strike from someone. And I can just hook up the sequence in here. Or actually, wait a second. Because it will have only one anim, I can just do it here. Like promote to variable, cube, hit anim, right? And just have it like that. And what else do I have to do here? Yeah, I just have to play it. That's it. So the way I'm playing it here is I'm taking sequence player, level sequence player. So can't I just basically take this and be like play? And that's it. It should be working. But now I actually have to make a animation. And that's what I'm thinking right now might be a little bit problematic, right? Let's think. No, not really. This is my actor, right? For example. Yeah, that's the problem. I was thinking that I could just make an anim for the static mesh there, but that's not the way it works with level sequences. I have to animate the whole actor for it to work, right? So that's the silent thing in here. So I cannot just animate this cube and hook it up, this animation, to my I also need to make it valid. Validation. To my component and call it a day. Each time when I create a new actor that uses this component, I have to create a new anim for the whole actor of how this cube animates. So that's like an unfortunate setup in here, right? Because here the whole actor has been animated. That's like a little bit unfortunate, but still it is a little bit quicker than each time. I think, at least for now, I might eat my words. It might be a little bit quicker than each time turning each static mesh into skeletal mesh. But if I'm reusing though, I would need to just create the control rig and that's it. Then I could reuse those things. I still need to think it through whether I should maybe go with skeletal meshes here. But for now, let's just test it. So what I need to do in here is I need to create a level sequence, right? Primary action, blueprint. Rotators, right? I need to create a new level sequence. Just start typing level sequence. Yeah. I call it level sequence, rotator, test, actor. I can just put it in here if I remember correctly. And there was a something that I had to click in here to make it work only in the not with the world origin but with the actor origin. But I forgot what I was supposed to click in here. Collision? No. Fuck, I forgot. Was it in here? No. That's it. That's it. Yep, I remember. Yeah. Okay, so now I can actually open level sequence and I can add actor track. The name of it was, what the hell? Rotator test actor, right? And now I have to add transform track and just go with the scale. And I gotta be honest, I'm starting to hate this workflow. I might be eating my words. Maybe turning cube into a simple skeletal mesh might be, yeah, up front might be a little bit more setup, but then I can just reuse this cube whenever the fuck I want, right? But what if I'm animating the whole actor then? Do I have to turn all of my setup into skeletal mesh? Not really, I don't feel like it. Okay. So it will be like a super short, like half. Like add key in here. Add key in here. Wait a second. Change it to and add that key. Whoa, 1.5 and 1.5. But wait a second, that's not what? That's not exactly what I want. Delete that. Delete. I wanted to add not actor track. Rotator test actor. Cube. That's what I wanted to rotate. And now that is transform, right? Scale. Now in here I want to have like plus 0.5. Once again, it's just that's the wrong thing. Delete. No, delete. Wait. Hold on. Okay, I know. This is what I wanted to rotate. Fuck. I kind of forgot how to do it after a month. Okay, and now we are at 0. Let's add this key. Now we're here. Let's add like 0.5 to it. It's way too much. Can I delete the key quickly? Delete key. Make it 2 times bigger. Mm-hmm. Then another key back to where we were. And I want to copy those keys and insert them here. Can I just do that like this? I can. Wait, but it did something weird. And at the end, I want to go back to the original value. I don't really like animating at all, I'll be honest. Can I just open the curve editor because that will be way easier. First of all, no, 0.5 times 4. Wait. The fuck I did? I wanted to do it here. And this times 3 in here, and this should be in 0.25. Now it all makes sense. I can edit curves. I cannot edit anything in here. Okay, now we are saving this sequence, and I'm deleting it from here. And let's see if actually, did we animated it correctly? Did we hook up everything correctly? So here, wait, I need to expose this variable at least. And this is that. And let's see if it works. It actually is working. But you know what's annoying to me right now when I think about that? Is that each time I will use such rotating cube on whatever object that would be, I have to create animation and level sequence for the whole actor for that one cube thingy to appear. So I'm not a big fan of that shit. I'll be honest. For such simple scale transform, I might just in some off time, not today because we don't have too much time for that bullshit, just create like a simple library, simple component that you will attach to your actor, provide a curve, provide the tag for the component it's supposed to work on, and just treat it as super simple anim with the curve. And that's it, because right now I'm seeing it and I'm like thinking, oh, well, do I really have to do it like that? Now I want to open this shit. But can I, like, for example, maybe provide a curve from here? No. Because you know what would be cool? If I could just be like, if I could point to a curve in here, a curve from content browser, but I don't think you can do it that way, right? Doesn't look like it. Nah, Okay, whatever. The additional thing that I kind of wanted to do for this rotating cube that you could attach to anything. Yeah, because the idea is that you could attach it to a door, to a propeller like in here, to the spawner like in here, to basically whatever. Just tag, for example, the component that it's supposed to rotate, for example, root component, and we're done, right? And I think it is working, but the thing is, right now our rotator cube is only rotating around, if I'm not mistaken, around z-axis, right? Yeah, like the blue arrow here, it's only around z-axis, and I want to create the version that will rotate, let's make it simple, around x-axis and y-axis, and I want it to be simple. So instead of like going with like, hey, let's just copy and paste all of this logic, because that would be bullshit, let's try to be a little bit smarter and make all the base preparation in here, right? In code it would be super easy to do. In Blueprint I'm not really sure how to organize it yet. Because here we are taking relative z constantly, etc. Like everything is connected to with which axis we are rotating, but it's super hardwired in here, right? All the cases in here. How could we make it even more general version so we can just have an enum like enum? We can just create like a free child version of there where we are just only selecting the axis and that's it. Selecting the axis and the color of the cube, right? Coward is here. Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? What's up? What's up? How are you doing? How are you doing? How is the weather out there? And here the autumn starts really early. I gotta say. Yesterday I was on a walk with my partner and the kid, and we saw a huge amount of yellow leaves everywhere on the ground, and we're like, it's August and autumn is already starting? Ah, oh, shit. It's way too soon, way too soon. And how are you doing? How are you doing? Right now I'm thinking what in what way I should generalize this, because I will fuck it up for sure right now, but I really want to have it as a generalized rotator, as my generalized component with specific visualization, specific logic that I could just attach to anything, and then it will have my gameplay logic being executed on any object, right? Coward says, weather is, it's dark as shit outside, and some dude got knocked out at the gas station. Holy shit. Why was he knocked out? Was he acting up, or actually he is the victim of the situation where he was just standing there and someone, boom, knocked him? Damn. So it's dark and dangerous around. Alright, take care. Take care, my dude. I hope you're safe. Shit. It's not nearly as dark in here as in your place. I was just trying to think. Did I see yours? Coward says, yeah, it was just some homeless dude. Oh, so he was probably acting up. Nah, he deserved it. Yeah, he probably was acting up. Yeah. There are some aggressive people out there. Texas dogs are the second police. Yep. That's what might happen in your place. Yeah, I just remembered like 2 days ago. It's unrelated to the Unreal Engine or anything like this. Like a quick side note. I was exiting my block, and I was almost close to the exit out of the staircase, right? And I just saw the doors open and like a huge box, a package for delivery, just went flying through the whole fucking corridor. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I, quickly, went to the door to see who the fuck threw it. And it was the fucking delivery guy himself. I forgot which company it was, but basically that guy couldn't give less fucks. He didn't even, took the goddamn box and placed it near the flat that it was supposed to go to. He just fucking chugged that bastard through the whole fucking corridor. And I was like, holy shit. What the hell was that? I've seen shitty delivery, but I haven't seen a throwing Olympics delivery. God says, what is the problem you're working on? Basically, I had like a prototype. Let me show you quickly. I have like a prototype where I have this thing that spawns bubbles with fire, and I have this thing that propeller that creates wind, right? And you need to get the golden star that doesn't look like a star, but wink wink, let's say that it's a star behind these wooden logs, right? So I have to shoot my rotating cube a couple of times just to make sure that the flying bubble flies over here. I can burst it, open myself door, open door for myself to collect this shit, right? And that's like cool. But I thought, well, what if I had a visual language that every time you see this kind of cube attached to any object, you know that you're supposed to shoot at it and it will rotate around the axis, right? So that way I can teach player like a small visual language cue that, okay, this puzzle will involve rotating elements around in that way, right? Some will be close, some will be from afar, some might be moving, etc, etc, right? But the thing is, right now, this kind of functionality is hardwired into prototype blueprint of just that propeller, right? So what I'm doing right now is picking up from like 2 streams ago, of creating the component that would contain generalized logic of that. So I could just attach it to anything and it will work. And the thing is, I'm kind of finishing it up. I had like a small hiccup with the animations, and last stream that I was able to do, I was doing like a small R&D for in what way I could animate such stuff as, for example, cube getting hit, right? In the quickest way possible. I came up with something, but right now I'm immediately faced with like, fuck. I should have maybe done it in a different way, etc. But whatever. I'm generalizing this functionality, and I'm also right now thinking of sorry, changing the logic around here in such a way that I could just dictate which axis it is rotating around, right? And so basically the problem I'm trying to work out here is blueprint organization, which is not easy for me. I'm mainly working with C++, so blueprints aren't that easy to organize for me. I have lots of trial and errors of what works and what not. Yeah, and if that gets done, I might, maybe today. Nah, I will do it on another stream. Because I want to do like a quick library where I could just create a curve, assign it to whatever component I want, and it will do scale animation or rotation or whatever that I want. Kind of like a super small animation system. But not today. If my organizing shit here will get done, I will want to create like another prototype of something. I have it written down, but we'll see if we will get there. And what are you working on? What are you working on right now? What problems are you facing? Okay, okay. In what way I could work this thing? Quick wallpaper check. Okay, because everywhere I am hardwired to like, hey, do this on Z, do this on Z, check this on Z, etc. I should make it more general. And only at the last step I should be like deciding, hey, are we using X, Y, or Z, right? I'll be honest, if I was working with C++ code right now, I would be even thinking about making it like, hey, we are rotating around the up axis. Wait, hold up. Don't I have it generalized already? Am I overthinking it? Because it's all done in relative rotation, right? So it's all up from my component. So it means right now, when I'm shooting at this thing, it rotates it that way, right? Around the Z-axis. But if I'm correct, I can just do it like this. Do it like this, and it will behave appropriately, right? Some weird shit is happening. I'm hitting that, and this cube gets animated. So my animation setup is fucked. Such a funny bug. I'm shooting at one actor, the other actor gets animated. Yeah, because the level sequence is targeting that actor origin. Oh, what the fuck. I wonder if I can just change it. But no, I can't. Because it's just targeting that particular actor. It's yeah, my anim setup is all fucked up. On the next stream I have to take care of it. Coward says, we've been studying Mario 64 Goomba AI. For demonstration purposes, I'm trying to optimize the game I'm doing as much as you can optimize a Godot game. Nice. Part of its marketing is that the target hardware is a ThinkPad X200 laptop. I don't know that laptop. Let me quickly check what it is. But it's nice. Studying like not only N64 games but all the other games, AI, etc. is a great fucking exercise. And it's supposed to be as optimized as possible in a Godot game. So that pretty much means little to no A-star pathfinding. Oh yeah, like let me quickly see what is ThinkPad X200 laptop. What the fuck, Google? Specs. Google. You guys probably have seen the same shit as I do because everyone is commenting on it. Google had become shitty lately. In a couple of years, when you want to search for something and it gives you not what you want, it gives you like 15 things that are promoted or whatever, and you have to really scroll through to find the actual fucking thing that you want to. So lately I've been using Gemini or ChatGPT as a Google because at least it can actually find the fucking link that I'm searching for and provide me this shit. It's all ass backwards. Search engine is shitty. AI is a better search engine than the search engine. It's completely backwards. Do you guys have the same experience as me? Because I'm getting frustrated with that shit. Okay, Lenovo ThinkPad X200. Oh, Windows 7. Oh, yeah. Oh, Intel Core 2 Duo. 1.4 gigahertz. 2 cores per processor. Holy shit. Okay. And max capacity 4 gigs. Wow. Storage 200. Okay. I'll be honest, that's a nice challenge because writing to a, you know, hardware that is old and shitty forces you to be clever about stuff, right? So my hats off to you that you're going with that challenge because I think, you know, it will be awesome. I think it will be awesome. And it's a great marketing plan in my opinion that you can run on any old ass laptop. That sounds fucking great. Coward says asking the AI for links is wild. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, I'll be honest. It's not always giving the best results, but at least I don't have to scroll through like 4 or 5 pages of Google to find exactly what I wanted to find, right? It's bad. When I'm searching the Unreal Engine stuff, it's alright because Epic is search engine optimized, so it, you know, gets up there. But if I'm searching for something else that is, let's say, I don't know, not corporate connected, that doesn't have any SEO, or it used to be easily searchable, you could just type in the exact name of a thing that you are trying to find. And 5 years ago, it would be the first hit. Now it is either no hit or like 6th page, and no one goes to 6th page, right? Coward says about limitations writing for the old hardware. In my opinion, as opposed to encouraging cleverness, I found that it just stops me from doing things that are retarded. Oh yeah. I agree because yeah, that's another thing that it can also do. Like sometimes we like, because you know current PCs and phones etc. are quite powerful, which means there's no limit to writing code that is not performing. It works, but you just write shit and fuck it, right? And older hardware or limited hardware quickly tells you no. Quickly tells you fuck no. Rewrite this shit. I won't work with it. Unless you want, you know, 90% of CPU being used for this one trick, right? So that's also a great way of, you know, stopping from writing not that optimized code. And I have to say, going back to my problem, all of the animation here I'm deleting because it just doesn't work. I have to figure out something else. So that shit is not needed. That shit is not needed. I can safely delete that, and that. And in my rotator test actor, yeah. IGS Ghost, hi! Nice to have you here. How are you doing? How are you doing? And what is that weather out there where you live? And where are you from? Here in Poland is already autumn starting, and I'm pissed off about that because we barely had any goddamn summer. Hey, yeah. Okay, so I will get back to animation on some next stream because I'm tired of that thing. I just realized that I accidentally did a rotator that is like working with whatever axis you will give to it. So that's great. IGS Ghost says, doing good. How are you, buddy? I can't sleep. Been dreaming about adding seasons to my game. LOL. Oh, seasons to your game. What kind of game are you working on? And seasons in games are always nice. Always nice. And I get it that you can't sleep because of that. I also had and still have, like, sometimes an idea pops up that I should do in my game, and in my brain I'm, you know, creating code or compiling not compiling, creating code or blueprints or whatever I'm thinking how shit should work, etc. Then I wake up completely destroyed, but happy. At least about that, right? What kind of game is that? I'm really curious. And you're in Colorado, nice! So we got two people from states in here. Coward from Texas, and you're from Colorado, nice. And I'm from Poland. So, you know, across the pond, as they say, right? Or is this the saying that is only applicable to British? I don't know, really. IGS Ghost says, I did a 9-month challenge in December. I am building a survival hunting game with a slow burn horror. I am 8 months in. Nice. Congrats for sticking out with the challenge, man. And I'm crossing my fingers that you will, you know, get to the finishing line and that, you know, you'll be satisfied and that you will be happy at the end of that challenge. Survival hunting game. That's interesting, with a slow burn horror. That's interesting. You're a hunter. You need to... The Steam page is up and lots of functionality. Bring the name, bring the name. I'm not sure if goddamn auto moderation will allow link for here. I deleted the auto mods on Twitch and YouTube, trying to let you guys post links in here because I don't give a fuck, right? I can always delete some bullshit links from bots, right? But I'm not sure if it works right now, so the name would be helpful. IGS Ghost says it's called the Caretaker's Lease. Let's take a look at it. I'm sure it looks way better than what I'm working right now on Steam. We got it on Steam, boys and girls. Holy shit! It's actually... Wow! It's actually on Steam. IGS Ghost says you do have to watch links. They will get folks hacked. Yeah, that is true. That's probably why, even though I click through some auto mod options, it still doesn't allow for links unless it's from me, right? Probably they are doing the great thing, but sometimes it is infuriating when someone tries to, you know, show something and we have to go round way about that. But, you know, you can always drop a link in the Discord connected to this stream. Let me quickly grab my link. Yeah, so you can always drop a link there and, you know, I will always look through it. I'm not that often online, unfortunately, because of life reasons, serious life reasons, but I always try to check stuff out, even if it is a little bit later. You do have to, I built all this in 8 months. Let's take a look at this. You got sounds going on. You got the whole forest going on. You have the horse animation and everything, equipment. I see survival statistics. I see temperature. I see gun and a scope. I see animals. In 8 months. And are you doing this full time, or is it like, you know, so-called after hours or whatever? Damn, and you have everything working. What engine is this? Is this Unity? Is this Unreal or Godot? Or your own? You got skinning. Alright. Nice for a challenge. I've been doing these streams for a year, more than a year, and my game is nowhere near what you have. IGS Ghost says, all animals have full set of organs that react with damage, changing the blood color and bleed rate. What? You crazy. All animals and humans. You crazy, bro. You crazy. Bro. And you have night and winter. Uh-huh. And cold and wet and sick. You have lots of stats in here. Damn, nice. Nice. What the hell is this thing? I don't know. I got some bug in here. Got the whole page going on, etc. IGS Ghost says, yeah, it's built in Unreal. Blood runs warm beneath the frost, but speaks its name and you'll be lost. The dark remembers every scream, and the ether walks where silence dreams. Shit, bro, I ain't gonna... Whoa, there's some evil eyes in there. Not gonna lie, bro, that's something. You build this in 8 months for a challenge. Shit, I know AAA companies that cannot get this far in fucking 2 years. So, bro, congrats. Congrats with that. Nice. Nah, congrats. Congrats. Congrats, bro. I'm kind of speechless, I'll be honest. In 8 months. We got the Steam page going. What are your plans further with that? Will you be working after 9 months, or is it like 9 months and release? Because that's what the challenge is about. Like, what is like the plan for all of that? Coward says, looks fun. Yeah, yeah. AGS Ghost says, antlers are all dynamic, so now no 2 deer antlers will be the same. God damn, bro, you went all in on this. I hand built all 60 sets. I hand built all 60 sets I have now, with more to come. Thanks, it's been a long one. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, I bet. I bet. I bet you're tired but happy. Like, I could see you being proud about that one, because, yeah. Let me repeat. AAA companies sometimes cannot build that many functionalities in 2 fucking years. So, and you did it in 8 months. Kudos, my hats off to you, and respect. IDS Go says, oh, I have a whole year planned for this game. I got a map that's 16 square kilometers. Bro, you crazy. Bro, you're freaking crazy. Wow. Cheers. Bro, that's nice. Now let's look at what I achieved in the year. Yeah, that's my game. Holy shit. But to be fair, I don't do this full time. But still, congrats. Really congrats. Okay, so I think when it comes to my rotator cube, I think it's done. When I think about that. It's really done. The only thing I could do is... Card says, this guy must be the target audience for Nanite. Yeah, I mean, in such situations, Nanite seems like, you know, like a saver. I just... Wait, let me think. I really want to see where Nanite Foliage will go, right? Because... yeah, there is this Electric Dreams demo when they have lots of basically almost everything done with nanite, and it works. But I kind of want to see like the released game with that stuff, because that's like a lot of problems to fit that into like a low spec PC. Let me tell you, from my day job, it's a lot of work to push it for the lower spec. Like for high end and epic hardware, yeah, sure, go nuts. But if you want to really push it for the low spec, and if you have world position offset shenanigans going on, ooh, tough challenge. IGS Go says, I build a trapping system for it. I build a legend system that if you miss them, they are gone. Build the next playthrough. Oh, that's clever. That's clever. That every playthrough you might see a legend, but if you don't see it, you might hear it from another player that there is this thing. Nice. IGS Go says, I do not use nanite. Oh, okay. So you can only use nanite on full match foliage. You do not use nanite. Okay, okay. Okay, so you handle the LODs for the foliage and everything on your own, right? That's also a lot of job, but at least the workflow with that has been established since Unreal Engine 3, I guess. So you know what to do. With nanite, sometimes it's like, okay, I did something that wasn't done in any of the epic presentations, and it's chugging, and you have nowhere to turn, right? If IGS Go says, if you use nanite on anything other than full mesh, it hurts the performance. Yeah, there's been like this presentation, I forgot the name about that, when they were showing like which type of meshes, even for the foliage, it is working greatly with, and what is the problem, and how you could change the mesh a little bit with some trickery to make it better for nanite, right? And it does help a lot, but I think, you know, in 3 or 4 years, we will be even knowing more about nanite, and it will be more easier to use for the low end spec. Right now, it is the target. Right now, it is a target. What the fuck am I saying? Right now, it is a problem. On the day job, we have a challenge with that. I gotta say. IGS Ghost says nanite is only for high poly stuff. Yeah, yeah, that's true. I wouldn't use nanite for low poly shit at all. IGS Ghost says, I have been in Unreal for 8 years every day, teaching myself everything I can. LOL. 8 years, nice, nice. So you, wait, let me calculate it quickly. Yeah, you've been with Unreal longer than I am. I've been in the game development for 10 years, but with Unreal I only been for 6. So you probably know more about Unreal than I do. And you were teaching everything yourself. Yeah, congrats, bro, congrats. I'll be honest, that is inspiring. That is inspiring. Alright, alright. IGS Go says, believe it or not, a lot of those meshes are low poly, even the antlers. Huh. So I gotta say, nice low poly models. Nice low poly models. Nice low poly models, I gotta say. And it is inspiring. Alright, what I kind of want to do right now is... and it will hurt me probably, is change my propeller to use my rotator, specific rotator component, not this functionality. And I feel like I will break everything. So cue in next 2 hours of me trying to fix shit. IGS Goes asks, so what are you doing here? Well, basically I'm teaching myself game design in here, because on the day-to-day basis I work mostly with C++ gameplay code. And I don't design stuff, right? So I'm created like a idea for a game when you are mostly changing the state of the world with your bow and arrow, right? It will be more like a puzzle game. And I'm creating prototypes of what you could do, and with those prototypes I'm trying to find a way to create some cool gameplay sequences, right? It's supposed to be arcadey a little bit, not realistic at all. So I'm creating lots and lots of prototypes for stuff. For example, I have to collect this star in here, right? But it is behind wooden logs. I have this thing that spawns fire bubbles. And I have this propeller that creates wind, right? And I have this rotating cube. Of course, all the visuals are placeholders, shitty visuals, right? Because I just want to concentrate on pure gameplay, no art style yet. I have something in mind, but right now I'm just creating dirty ass prototypes, right? And I have to shoot at it 3 times. It starts to move those bubbles forward, and now I can, believe me, it's a bow or a placeholder for a bow. I can burn everything and collect the star. And yeah, the idea is that, okay, this is like a setup for a sequence. How can I go crazy with it? And I have a mode of transportation. I can kinda aim like this and launch myself. Right? And the idea is that, you know, you have to collect all those stars. And I could, you know, play around with those propellers and spawners of fire bubbles. So really I'm trying to spice up the sequence, come up with the ways of creating visual language for player, different prototypes, etc, etc. And while doing, yeah, like for example, you can see like, oh, here's the first challenge. We see the fire bubbles going in here, propeller is already aligned, so I can just aim and unlock the star for collection, right? And unlock it, of course, with shooting the arrow, because the whole game is about shooting arrows, and if it is a game concentrated on that, collecting is via arrows, all the interactions is via arrows, and mode of transportation is also via arrows, right? Here I have to, you know, like, shoot at least once to unlock possibility of getting the star. Here I have to do it couple of times. Yeah, and you know, I'm basically freestyling and trying to come up with like some cool ways of interacting with stuff. Let me see if I can teleport myself right there. And I missed, of course. I fucking missed. Doesn't matter. I also have water bubbles. I have flame, like arcade flame propagation, where if it lands on flammable surface, after a couple of seconds it will spawn 4 smaller flames. If it lands on non-flammable surface, it will die out. If it will spawn on flammable surface, it will grow, and split again, right? And I have water bubbles that you can shoot through that will spawn water. And I can create my own way through the sea of flames, right? So I'm basically creating lots of prototypes like this. And while I was working on this propeller, I realized, well, what if I created a visual language where you can just attach this cube? I, as a game designer here, game programmer in here, want to create a visual language where player will know that if he sees that cube being attached by a stick to something, it means that that object can rotate. So you could have rotating walls, rotating doors, rotating enemies, rotating elements in the level, right? This should be like a visual clue that you can always rotate it. So right now I created like a component that basically encapsulates this logic. And I tested it in here, right? So I'm shooting at this cube and it's rotating everything, right? And now I want to remake my, or change my propeller prototype so it will use this generalized component, so I won't have like 2 rotating logics, right? And I don't know, maybe I will try to come up with some sequence or something. And you guys are writing here. IGS Ghost says, I dig it. I am a good programmer and I can write anything you want, but I get lost in the gameplay side sometimes. Yeah, that's... I feel similar way, and I specifically designed the challenge of this game and the idea that you have to interact with everything with arrow just to learn more about how to come up with like sequences, gameplay portions, etc. Because that doesn't come easy for me, at least now, right? So I'm learning this shit here. Then IGS Ghost says, this is awesome. I love game functionality more than anything. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the idea is here to make it more like kind of organic, that there will be like a visual language, and the whole challenge is not about you being the best archer, trying to shoot from afar, super small targets, etc. It's more about like logical interactions between objects, right? Like flame propagates and can burn wood, right? Water puts out the flame, wind makes bubble move around, right? And I want to add more to those crude simulated elements and see what kind of interactions and puzzles I can build with it, right? Coward says, did you do the motion blur yourself? I have motion blur in here? I haven't noticed. I'll be honest, it might be the streaming problem. I didn't do any motion blur work in here at all. Or are you asking the IGS Ghost about his project? IGS Ghost says, the fire propagation is cool. Thank you. I like the idea, IGS Ghost says, I like the idea of something above to say, hey, you can rotate this. I do anything I can to avoid UMG at all costs. Yeah, that's another thing that I am kinda trying to do here, is to go as much HUDless as I can, right? Because I feel like it's a crutch that's been overused, maybe a little bit in modern games, right? Because you can always explain everything with UI. But how much awesome it feels in the older games or in modern games that are trying to do this, when you figure out something organically as a player. When you look at stuff, you don't have to read anything, you don't have to look for symbols on your UI, you just see the world and its state, you know your abilities, you know how objects in the game behaves, you put two together, eureka moment, you feel like a genius, right? So yeah, that's what I'm going for. Like, I love that shit as well. And I think I started loving it since the first Dead Space, when they had the ammo counter actually on a weapon and the health bar on the spine of Isaac. And I was like, that's super clever. I love that shit, right? IGS Ghost says, I have no motion blur. It's turned off in my project setting. Okay. I'll be honest, every game I play, I turn off the motion blur. I don't know, for some reason, I don't like it. It's messing with me. Then IGS Ghost says, UMG is very heavy sometimes and it causes frame drop. Yeah, like, if I remember correctly, on the day job I was profiling a game, and it turns out that like the whole rendering of everything UI was always taking like 1.5 milliseconds. It was a constant cost, of course. It wasn't changing at all, but still, when you're targeting 60 frames always paying 1.5 milliseconds because of all the HUD is painful. Howard says, having mechanics be a part of the world instead of just on the screen is always nice. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. There might be some elements where I will not figure out how to view it without HUD, but I'm trying. That is the goal, right? To go as HUDless as possible. I might not always succeed, but that is the limitation that I'm posing on myself. It's also, you know, such limitations breeds creativity, right? So, okay, let's destroy my previous propeller. Let's fuck shit up. All of this logic, bullshit. We are adding new component. BP, rotator, cube base. We have our rotator. So we have also, as a kind of documentation of how to use it, our rotator test actor, which basically says that, yeah, shit will be different. Okay, so what is being rotated in here? Face. I forgot what the hell face is. What is this big box? Is it my... Yeah, it is my rotator. That's great. So let's use the same red material. Just red. If I... Red. Just red. MI just red. Of course, instance, right? Okay, and... Let's move it a little bit for a second. What is the face? This is the face. Okay, so if I rotate the face, right, that's where I... Yeah, okay. Let's put it at 0, 0, as it were. So in here, so for the face, I need to tag it with a component tag that is supposed to be what? Rotator target. Okay. Does hit target do anything interesting? Not really, but it has a collision. So everything that was connected to like, hey, hit target. Wait, uneven how... Yes, so my hit target right now is my rotator cube base, so... That's the thing. And we will destroy this whole blueprint. I'm for sure I just fucked up my whole... everything, right? But the event being hit... No, I already have it on arrow hit confirmed. I don't need to do anything. If I understand it correctly, I should just go like this. Right? Because play arrow hit Q is also the part of it. I should just go like this. And I just realized that this version that I'm just fucking up with, I haven't submitted to my repository. So I will not revert to it if I fuck things up. Genius, Addo. Genius. Why would you need a repository, right? Nah, repositories are awesome. I'm just fucking with y'all. It's just I made a stupid error. I forgot that I haven't submitted this version. But, whatever. Maybe instead of like deleting everything, I will just do that. I will just not react to anything. I will unhook the tick in here. That can stay. That is needed. Wait. Actually, scratch that. I need that. I don't need that. Because here I'm updating the cosmetic rotations of, you know, blade going around. Cord says, I need to actually get good with version control. Laughing my ass off. Every time I make that mistake, I just create a new repo. Yeah, the problem with Unreal Engine and repository is you know, for Unity or Godot, it's super easy to just use GitHub and call it a day, right? But because Unreal Engine works with binary files, and sometimes you get big ass assets to your projects, right? What happens is the repository on your PC get balloons up because GitHub doesn't do a great job, or at least it didn't do a good job when was the last time I was checking it, with binary files differences. For some reason, Perforce handles it way better. So I have my private Perforce repository on a completely different PC as a server, and I'm submitting there, like a mini PC, and it's been working fine for me. At the day job, I haven't worked at a job that didn't use Perforce for Unreal, and I think like you can have it for free when you have like a project that has like up to 2 or 3 users. Don't take my word for it, check it, but I think there are ways to use it as an indie when you are just prototyping stuff, etc, etc, right? But yeah, I would love to have like the actual free open source alternative to Perforce for Unreal that would handle binary files very well. That would be awesome. Okay, update Blade's cosmetic rotation. This is something that works with that. With that little fella, it rotates it constantly. And the rest of it was the logic that was rotating it, which is right now the part of the component, gameplay component. And I can unhook this, and I can unhook this, I think. Yeah. And I think I can delete the component, hit target. Or wait a second. Let me just copy wait, all of the transform from here to here. Thank you for not copying fucking scale. Ah, yeah, because I have a custom scale. Okay, now I can delete that. I can have that. And let's make it way smaller, maybe. This might be too small. How about a half? Yeah, a half seems like. And I fucked up blueprint. Yay! I can use that. Okay, blueprint is working once again. Working, compiling. It's funny because I didn't have any bot yet on the stream, and I didn't have any crash. I didn't do that much. I was just mainly talking with y'all guys. Maybe the time for the first crash for the stream is happening right now. Let me drop a link to because I'm always awful with the self-promotion. IGS Ghost says, I hardly ever crash in the engine anymore. Oh, that's nice. I'll be honest, at my day job, you know, it's a different thing when lots of people are constantly submitting shit to the repo and you get crashes often. But here, yeah, sometimes I do crash because I do some stupid shit, right? And at some point I will create like a crash counter, like a general crash counter and current stream crash counter, right? Or the record, what was the record? And if I will get invaded more with bots, I will have a bot counter because it's funny to me. Okay, so let's see how much I broke everything. I broke everything. Oh, not. Maybe I just have a bug. IGS Ghost says most of all my crashes are me trying to brute force the engine. Yeah. I don't think I have a mental list of the ways I create crashes the most often. Sometimes I might forget, like, do like a null pointer check, but that's rarely. Yeah, the things that are crash often the most on is, for example, that I have the assumption, especially like I'm writing new functionality, and I might have the assumption that, for example, something's already replicated, right? And it turns out, nope, I have to wait a little bit, right? So those were my most often crashes. Or that some subsystem is up and running and it isn't. And a couple of other assumption-wise crashes. It just reminded me of a short story about the funniest bug I ever created. I haven't topped that bug ever. And actually it could be a gameplay feature for some game that tries to be hardcore, have hardcore difficulty. While I was working at Flying Wild Hog on the game called Evil West, which I'm not sure how it's standing right now. On Steam, how is it standing right now? Oh, whatever. What the? Just show me. Fuck. What are the reviews? Ah, they are positive right now. Okay. Yeah, I work on that game, and yeah, it is like a, I don't know, even beat 'em up with some shooting and vampires and shit, right? And I worked at Flying Wild Hog then, and the funniest crash I did was, I was just starting with Unreal Engine, right? And the first thing that I was learning was gameplay ability system. And if you know gameplay ability system, you know that it is a big feature, right? Big library. And not that well documented. There is the documentation from Tronic, which hats off to you, Tronic, if you would ever see this, but I love you, man, for creating this documentation. And I was supposed to do, there was an iteration where headshots should always kill, I wonder if I will find a screenshot of this enemy. Yeah, headshot should always kill these guys, right? And I was like, cool, let me create a gameplay effect that will just change the damage attribute or damage multiplier attribute to be like, I don't know, like a fucking million, right? Or I used like a very specific number so it would be easier to debug if something went wrong. Like I used like 999777666 222, right? Or something like that, right? Like super huge number. And, tested it. Yeah, killed the guy in one hit in the head. Cool, right? And then came a bug that sometimes while you're playing, if you shoot that guy, and we got the first bot in here, woo! So the first bot is already here. Let me quickly ban that guy. Yeah. Okay. The guy banned. So, the reports started coming in, or the rumors like, hey, this game is kinda hard. Sometimes when you have a shootout with those guys, sometimes what happens is the guy will one-shot kill you, regardless of how much health you have, shields or whatever, or cheats. You might have some cheats, debug cheats turned on, right? You'll be dead. And it was like months and months and months of production. No one found why. And at some point we had to like submit like vertical slice to a publisher or whatever. I don't really remember, but it was like a milestone ending point, right? And almost most of the bugs were like big bugs were finished, but there was this one annoying bug. When you are just going through the section of the game, when you have a shootout with these guys, you were always dying. They were one shot killing you. And this bug was assigned to like every programmer at some point, and no one could find the reason why. So that was like a day before a submission. We were called like, please guys, fix that fucking bug because it makes the game unplayable. We sat down, like 5 or 6 of us, each one debugging each portion of a game, and someone finally found that, hey, the guy is shooting me, and I have a damage of, and I'm being given the damage of 999777666, and I was like, that's my fucking number. And we quickly looked at the gameplay effect, and what happened was, I misunderstood back then in 2019 how gameplay effect works. I thought that when I'm creating a damage multiplier while shooting at the guy's head, that I'm multiplying my damage output. No, I was multiplying his damage output. So if you shoot at the guy in the head and you didn't kill him, the vengeance will come to you. And once we realized that, we're laughing so much, and then we started thinking maybe it should be a mode in the game that one shot won't kill. If you don't kill a guy with one shot into the head, he gets pissed off and you gotta fucking run or kill him fast, right? Because it could be a feature. So it was very funny that I conflated like who's the target of the gameplay damage, etc, etc. So gameplay damage multiplier. So it was the funniest fucking bug I ever did. That, hey, if you don't kill a guy with one headshot, he will kill you with one shot, right? So it is punishing you for not being the perfect shooter, right? The best bug I ever did. We fixed that, but we had, every now and then we're coming back to like, hey, maybe we should implement this shit, right? Maybe we should actually make it into actual feature. And every now and then I'm thinking about it, like, hey, maybe this should be a mode in a game, where you really have to use all of your knowledge about the game in order to kill a guy, and if you don't kill a guy in one hit, prepare for trouble. IGS Ghost says, targets are very important, laughing my ass off. Yeah, and I just conflated it at the beginning, like the whole gameplay effect, application, etc. was kind of confusing for me. Let me say, you can pick an easier way in to the Unreal Engine than starting with gameplay abilities. But I love gameplay abilities system. Yeah, I just have a bug, it actually works out. It might be the first time in my career when I'm extrapolating some functionality from an actor to a component alone and bringing it in and not destroying the whole freaking thing in a process, right? So I'm surprised that it's working. I was really prepared that I will be fixing this shit until 1 p.m. That is actually cool. Okay, it means that I did a good job like a month ago. Okay, so I can just delete all of that stuff? Really? And just leave it like simple? It makes the blueprint be super readable right now. Let's put it in here. And this is also not needed. Yeah, I lost the cube animation on that. I will redo it later. But and the bug. Yeah, there is a bug that sometimes a shot can create more rotations than I need to, but yeah, it works. What the fuck? It works. Great. Fucking great. Huh, dirt off my shoulder. IGS Ghost says, I remember my first bug. It was hard for me, and now if a bug don't break the game, it's one step closer to a feature. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I can't I don't know, you can read so many articles and reports, etc., or see other streams where a funny bug makes developer go into mode like, maybe it should be a feature, right? It's like, if I remember correctly, I might be conflating it with something else. Was it like the Warframe movement was actually created from some bugs that actually players started using, and the game director and designers were like, that is actually fucking awesome, let's lean into it? I'm not sure, it might have been Warframe. But it's awesome that such shit happens, right? Coward says, stuff like that is honestly why compilation time is one of the most valuable features in any compiler. I don't think I understand. Stuff like this is honestly why compilation time is one of the most valuable features in any compiler. I mean, I agree. Compilation time is one of the most valuable features. Like, in theory, you could put all of the Unreal Engine into one header, but probably it will be compiling for fucking years, right? Dan Coward says, Jai, please come to me. I don't get it. IGS Ghost says, well, sometimes you can't fix it. I have fixed bugs that break more than it's worth. Yeah, sometimes it can be a situation where there's a bug and fixing it seems impossible because the root cause of the bug is rooted so deeply in, for example, the way that engine or some specific library processes the data, that you would have to basically rewrite big portions of plugin or whatever, right? And it might be better to just cut off the feature, right? Coward says, bunny hopping comes to mind. Yeah, exactly, bunny hopping. It is kind of a bug, but also, right now it's a feature, right? Sometimes the fix just breaks more stuff. Yeah, it also can happen. I have parts of my code that is commented, do not touch, lol. Yeah. Coward says, I was just talking about the ability to... okay, I get you, Coward. I was just talking about the ability to iterate quickly and let it not be a hassle to test almost everything you do as quickly as you can. Yes, now I get you. Sorry. Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. That's why I love... That's one of the reasons why I love Blueprint compilation, because it's quick. Yes, you pay with the virtual machine time, etc. But, you know, I can do this prototype, and my idea is that this repository, even if I create like the full-fledged prototype, it will be abandoned, and I will create a new repo, and I will redo everything with C++ code, right? It will be fun. But at least I would be knowing what kind of game I'm making, right? And even then, there is the tool for Unreal Engine live coding, which also, when it works, it's awesome. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Compilation time for quick iterations, important as fuck. Iteration time is everything. Alright, I think I need a quick break. So... I need a quick break. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. And I think we will go forward. I think I will either work on new prototype, or I will maybe create like a new level and try to build out a sequence or something. Because I have enough features. Yeah, like I have this also kind of stupid feature, but also part of a visual language that, of course, in the final game will be some object that will make sense. Right now it's just like, shoot the red square, it will open the blue window. So you can shoot at this and unlock the way to get the star, right? Simple feature, but when you combine it with others and contextualize it, you could probably create a sequence. I don't know. We will be either sequence making in the second part of the stream, or we will be making new prototype, one of the prototypes from my list. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes. See you around. What's up? What's up? I'm back. I think we have like another 40 minutes of stream with us because it turns out I have to finish a little bit even earlier than I thought. Life reasons. But still, we can. I think we'll be sequencing. So I'll start a new level and we'll start using those prototypes. And I'm a shit level designer and I didn't prepare beforehand because that's the mission of those streams. I don't prepare beforehand because I don't want to be one of those guys on streams that are like, oh, I will do everything in 1 hour, and actually I was preparing for a month for this 1 hour performance on stream, but I will pretend that I'm such a genius that I did it in 1 hour. Nah, fuck that bullshit. Not only it creates like a sense of I don't know, inferiority in me and other people when I'm watching this shit like that, but also it's a lie, right? So no preparation. Every challenge that I'm facing you will also face when you are starting the first time with some plugin, some part of code, or a new skill. Like right now I'll be trying level design and I'll be shit at it. You can bet your ass. In the meantime, Coward says, even people in the 80s use interpreted languages like BASIC in the learning phase where you still need to make sure you did every little thing correctly. Yeah. Terry Davis. Yes, Terry Davis. Rest in power. Being the best programmer to ever live. Yeah, I can see that argument. Yep. Terry Davis being the best programmer to ever live. Even made his C compiler a just-in-time compiler for that exact reason. Yep. I watched... What was it? It was a documentary or a YouTube video, I forgot. But there was like this whole YouTube video dedicated to like his life, his struggles, but also his awesome code, Temple OS, etc, etc. Yep. Coward says, I knew a dude that would make a branch of stream and do all the work there, and then all of his streams were basically just having that branch on another monitor. Basically just manually merging it. Laughing my ass off. I don't see a point why someone would do it. Unless you only want to play pretend in front of the stream how awesome you are. Oh, I'm doing that by hand, but actually I've been preparing it for a month beforehand. I don't know why. I just don't get posing. Just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, that's not even fun to watch, in my opinion, when someone poses like this. Unless they are really a good actor and a poser, but then it always crumbles down. I guess it is good optics. I can't hate too much. Yeah, it is good optics. But is it real? I don't know the answer to this question. It depends on what you are trying to do. Like if... Yeah, I could see it in that way that, for example, someone prepared the code beforehand and then shows it and talks about how he did it and what were the challenges, what were the mistakes that he made and how he arrived at that solution. Yeah, 100%, you know, awesome. I would watch that shit, right? No hate from me, no critic from me. It's like, okay, yeah, you prepared beforehand, now you're talking about it and you're giving actual reasons why, etc, etc. Perfect for me, right? But I mostly have a problem with tutorials, etc, when they are showing in like 5 minutes something, a solution, kind of pretend like they did it in 5 minutes, when in all actuality you know that they spend a lot of time trying to figure this out. Also, it might not be working, really. They do not respond to criticism in comments or ask questions, and you are watching it, you are going step by step, and at some point it breaks and you're like, I don't even know why we were making these steps, because the guy wasn't really commenting on that, and there's like, it turns out 12 hidden steps in beforehand that someone forgot to mention or something. Like, I'm just, you know, not a very big fan of this type of stuff. Like, oh, there's a hidden checkbox that the guy didn't mention, etc. But if a guy, you know, prepared beforehand and actually gives the full report of what he did, 100% alright with me, right? Okay. Enough with just me talking. And yeah, let's start a new. I'm just looking at it and trying to remember if I remember all of the prototypes that I created and how to set it up, etc. This would be actually like a test of usability, whether I created all of those prototypes in such way that I will be able to assemble them without constantly getting into blueprints. How the fuck this shit work? Like, it will be a test. Nice test. So let's get to maps. Yeah, I can save the flame propagation range. And let's create a new level. But let's first game override BP primary action game. Okay. Because I don't remember game mode name. So let's create a new level. Maybe not that way. I don't like creating levels in that way. New level. Should I make it basic or open world? Ah, it's just test, so let's make it a basic. Alright, and let's name it something. Because I really don't have any idea how to name this shit. Primary action. Pop. Sequence R&D. Yeah, it is research and development because I don't even know in what way I want to build my maps, levels. It's the first time, actually it might be the first time ever in me being in game development that I'm trying to make a level from start to finish completely on my own. I never was really touching level design. Shit, I wish Sion was here because Sion is my friend that works as a level designer. He could give some pointers. So let's bash our heads against the wall and learn the hard way. Yeah, sequence. Let's try to create like a playable sequence that will be fun. Coward says, yeah, 90% of tutorials are trash. Yeah, I agree with that assessment. Yeah, sometimes my friends are asking me, like, why are you making those streams where sometimes you are struggling with one thing for 4 hours? We'd rather you do a quick quick tutorial about it. And I'm like, well, my tutorial would probably suck and it would take way more than 4 hours to edit it correctly. And I'm not an editor. And also I don't want to make tutorials, right? Because it would mean with every engine release, I would probably have to redo it. I'd rather just make game on stream and with every new release update shit and face the challenges here and, you know, merge everything correctly or fix correctly. I feel like that's more education. There's more education there. I wanted to do shorts from my streams, but unfortunately in my private time my time budget is basically adapt, right? So I even tried with like what Dexterovsky sent with the workflow, but I'm just unable to find time in my day to do that shit, right? So yeah. Coward says, there's something satisfying and also sad about getting to the level of experience that you know better than the tutorial guy. Yeah, I agree. You pinpointed it perfectly. It is satisfying to be like, ha, I actually know how to do it better. But then the sad realization of like, oh, alright. I won't learn about this particular thing from internet anymore. I have to find new sources of knowledge or I have to bash my head against things on my own. Oh shit, like it's kind of like realization. Yeah, I agree 100%. It is satisfying and a little bit sad. You pinpointed it correctly. Okay, so what should I do if I don't want it to be just like a one long corridor, right? God says, nobody to hold my hand anymore. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You feel like this bird that was kicked out of the nest. Like, yes, you learn how to fly right now. But now you're on your own. Okay, how do I want to start? Should I start it like a level in the middle of a game? No, I don't even know what the fuck middle of the game is in my case. I just want to create a sequence and see if I can, if it is possible, or should I iterate on my prototypes more and add maybe more elements to it? Shit, I don't know. Let's maybe start with something simple. Let's delete that whole thing. Or maybe let's keep it back for a hot second because I want to see where the floor is. But if I remember, Dexterovsky taught me on stream this. Cube grid. This is awesome. I can do like a little quick grid in here. Select it and press some button that I forgot. Oh yeah, okay. And I can create this little thingy. And then I can select these things and I can do extrusion. Yeah, okay, I forgot how to use that. Now I remember. No, I don't want this. Yeah, we'll do like a quick prototype via cube grid tool. I love it. For quick prototyping of a level. Let's do exactly that. Here's my level start, so let's quickly extrude like a starting point. Oh shit. Okay, I will move it a little bit down. Yeah, I'm just pressing Q and E. E for extrude, Q for, I don't know, opposite of extruding. I don't know what the word is actually. Like pulling the whole thing away. It'll be like a small start. Let's take these and make it a little bit bigger. Right? It'll be like a small start. I don't think I want to build walls or anything like that. Fuck that. And here I guess will be like a small corridor. And here is where I will just quickly introduce the player to red and blue. Red button, blue window that can be opened up, right? Yeah, let's do exactly that. And I want to have current folder, which in my case would be... Let's create a new folder for all these cube grid meshes, because there will be a lot of those. Sequence R&D cube or meshes, whatever, right? And this is my current folder, and accept. Did it create it in the current folder? Yes. And I also have to click save because you have to do it, right? And now let's get back into Shift 1. I actually never used those shortcuts because I never had to. Super easy. And now let's... Whoa. What the fuck did I click? Okay, content drawer, primary action, blueprints, and double window. Let's put it somewhere. What the... of course. I put it into scale. That was stupid. Okay, let's build this up. So the trigger window, let's move it somewhere here. Here, let's make it bigger, like way bigger. It will be blocking the whole view, right? Because the idea is that the player has to learn to shoot at this red thingy, right? Yep, and after the player goes through that, let's have more of the cube grid. So modeling, cube grid. Yeah, because I don't want to create it into like a single corridor. So maybe let's add one more and let's start moving here. How to make it interesting? So, oh my god, level design is an art. Because the way I want to go about it is, okay, first the player will learn that shooting the red target opens up those blue doors, right? Then I want to do the same thing, but I want to spice it up a little bit. So I want the player to change to use my launch yourself transportation mode to get somewhere. So I should basically do like this, and then once again cube grid and start a new cube grid like here, maybe? No. Here? Yeah, as a landing pad, like a big ass landing pad. For that, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. Let's just test it out. I won't learn in any other way, shape, or form by just testing, right? Yeah, I should ask my level designer friend for like a couple of pointers, but you know. And just to make it safer, here actually let's build some walls, right? I love cube grid. The moment Dexterovsky showed me cube grid, it changed my life for real, because I don't have to like constantly move the same shape around, etc. to quickly prototype shit. And then I imagine actual level art could sit down and be like, oh, okay, here's what you need, and actually put the real meshes in here and just delete the cube grid and be done with it, or use the cube grid as just collision. And that's it, right? Maybe I should like create like a small extrusion in here. Yeah, like a small door of opportunity, and we will see what will happen next. Okay, accept. Is it still one mesh or maps? Yeah, it is still treated as one mesh. Great. And I need another one of blueprints. I need to add that as favorite. Add the favorites and maybe set color. Because it's named blueprint, it should be freaking blue. So 1, 0, 0. Just freaking blue. And now. Why the shortcut is not working? Oh, now it's working. Okay. Yeah, because I want to go content drawer, double windows. Let's put it once again here. But this time we will do something a little bit weirder. Because, let's take trigger window and let's move it somewhere here. Let's take this window edges and move them like here. And let's block the whole freaking thing here, right? So I should scale it. What in the actual fuck is happening? Yeah, just because it's not a single mesh, it's behaving weirdly, and it will behave weirdly if I will just be constantly doing things in one. Okay. So yeah, okay, let's do it like that, shall we? Let's do it more like this. And we'll go back to cube grid a little bit. Right. And let's save it. I'm not sure. I think this sequence probably sucks, but we will play it in a hot second. Right now, the iteration time is also like super important, right? Let's go back to modeling mode, which is shift 5. Shift 5. Oh, it works. Actually, let's extrude those guys. Let's extrude those guys. And I don't know. Ah, fuck. Okay. Let's maybe also, let's make like a wall in here. So extrude this way. And add walls in here. Maybe, yeah, let's add some walls to the whole thing. So it will be understood what is going on, right? Damn, I love CubeGrid. Like, I really recommend it for level prototyping. Yeah, so playing from here, you shouldn't be able to see that challenge. You will go through here. Let's do it like this. Yeah. Yeah, it can be like that. It's probably shitty, but you know, that's how you learn. You start with shitty prototypes. My first code was also super shitty. So let's save it. Shift 1. Let's actually Control Shift Asset. Why did you go here? Oh, because that's my... Ah, fuck. Okay. I need to go to CubeGrid quickly because I forgot that when I have content drawer on some other folder, it will be saving to this other folder instead of what I wanted to do, which is here. So Shift 5. Sometimes those shortcuts don't work, and I don't get it. Okay, like for a quick second. Autogen folder, word relative. I would love so I could just pick the folder, like, hey, save everything in that exact folder, nowhere else. Instead, I have to remember to be like, oh, I'm in content drawer, so let me go in here. Let me right now go like this, and now I have to click accept, and fucking nothing happens because I already fucked up. Okay, so I have to go like this, save. I have to go like this, move here. I have to do update redirector references. Okay. I should be golden right now. And what is going on? Let's play this shit, right? And of course I forgot. Primary action game. Let's play this. And what the flying fuck? None of this shit has collision? Are you for real? Why? It doesn't generate auto collision? What the? Collision pressed. Block all. What in the holy mother of everything? I thought that it had automatically created collision. It doesn't? But I used it. What in the... I used the cube grid in another level and it had collision, so what the hell? I'm just falling through. Ah, this is like another thing and block all. What? And here I said that I love cube grid, right? Okay, now I need to investigate what the hell is going on. Because in another level that I was working on, the level when I was just placing all the prototypes in, everything was working. So I don't get it. Okay, let's... Oh my god, yeah, they changed the... way that the menu is working. Okay, I just want to see collision. There used to be like a view... Oh, here it is. View simple collision? No. Complex collision? There's like a complex collision. And I want to use that. Why isn't it automatically using my complex collision as simple collision? Use complex collision as simple. Or use both, I don't care. I just want to be able to walk around this shit. What is going on? Why it's not... Now it is working. Okay. This is the shittiest level I ever played. Yeah, and those things don't have collision. What? And do I have to click on every goddamn mesh like that? I didn't have to click this shit the last time, so I don't know what the hell I did wrong. I have no idea what the hell I did wrong, but... And it is super... claustrophobia inducing, and that's not exactly the thing I wanted to do, right? Yeah, the idea is correct, but the execution is completely wrong. It should be way, way bigger. So let's get to extruding. Okay, how about I delete all of that shit? Yeah. And how about I go once again into modeling? I won't be using this shift 1, shift 5 shortcuts because for some reason half of my key presses don't register. So fuck that. Cube grid. Yeah, let's make it way bigger because it's claustrophobic as fuck. It is claustrophobic as all living hell. It's not fun at all. Actually, scratch that. No, let's cancel it. Let's delete all of this shit. I just want to... Yeah, let's delete all of it. Let's start anew. Shall we? Zibi the Zebra is here. Zibi the Zebra. Hello, sounds like you're having a good time in Unreal Engine. Yeah, I'm right now doing something that I never did before, which is level design. I created a bunch of prototypes. Now I want to create a whole sequence in a level. I've never did any level design job, so it is hard and my level sucks, but I am having a lot of fun and I'm learning. How are you doing? How are you doing? Where are you from? And what is the weather out there? Here, where I live in Poland, the autumn is starting a little bit too early because it's already leaves falling. Cube grid, yeah, let's take like a bigger swath of chunk of goddamn thing. What the hell? What did I just click? I don't want that. I don't know what that is. Okay. I think I clicked G accidentally. Okay, so this will be like a starting launchpad, right? This is when we will be starting. It is like a bigger area, right? And instead of making it like a small corridors, I already see that I want to make it way bigger. So I need to establish the scale of the corridor, right? So let's go like this, right? And let's maybe create walls and see whether it will feel claustrophobic or not already. And it's not even. Now it is even. Okay. Zibi the Zebra says, I'm okaying okay. I'm doing okay. I am currently building my own LLM architecture from scratch. Oh shit. And it's not going so well. It's nighttime in Australia. Australia, okay. But thank you for asking. LLM architecture from scratch. Okay. Okay, so, what kind of... I don't even know what to ask. Like, what kind of things are you trying to generate? Will it be text? Will it be pictures, audio, code? Like, what are you working with, right? It's superbly interesting. Okay, so let's see if that... And am I in a correct folder? Yes. Okay, let's accept everything. That one I don't need. Actually, this one. Force delete. Hello. Force delete. I don't need that shit. Okay. I feel like I might need even more of a runway before I close the space in. The fuck you did? Cube grid to the rescue. I love cube grid. Yeah, and let's close off the space like right in here. And let's see if it is like okay. And yeah, it starts that way. And let's see if there will be a collision. No collision. Why did I... It's annoying that I will have to go and click use complex collision as simple every time. Really? Woo! Coward asks, I wonder how long it will take for small local LLMs to be practical. I don't know, but I wish it would be a thing, because whenever I don't use that much LLM, but I would love to have it locally, right? Without having super beefy computer. I mean, I do have like a dev computer, but you know what I'm saying. Instead of like sending my data to OpenAI, etc., right? Zibi the Zebra answers my questions. So I am building my own dataset because the end goal was to be able to clone my personal, and the proof of concept was going well. But the out-of-the-box tokenizer and architecture wasn't right for my use case, so I am building it. Oh, okay, okay. So it's like a complete, your own custom LLM for your personal style. Okay, that's interesting. That is interesting. I was also thinking to evade copyright for my music, because the music that is here in the background, I'm not sure if it is even hearable because I had to turn it so low. Because I get copyright strikes on my own fucking music, right? So it's funny. Because I use a library of samples that I bought in like 2008, and someone is like aggressively fucking copyright striking shit on YouTube for anyone who used that database, right? So I was thinking about like, hey, what if I trained LLM on my own music that I did back in the day, so it would produce beats in my style just for the streams, right? So I wouldn't have to deal with copyright strike. That might be something. I also had like one stream, and I might come back to it as a series, when I tried to use Unreal Engine's meta sounds for beat generation, right? And I did like a small drum generation, but there's like a lot of shit to be done before it will be even workable. But that all of that, like the LLM trained on my own beats to, you know, avoid copyright strikes, so it would create in my style, is something that I'm not able to do right now because of the time constraints that I have. I'm basically running low on time. Coward says, when I stream, I just use video game music. Never had any problem. Really? Huh. You know what? I might do a stream when I will test this out, right? I have like a couple of my favorite video game soundtracks. Might as well try to use them. And we'll see what is what. Yeah, thank you, Coward. I might do that. I might do it. My initial idea was like, hey, I had all these beats from all the past 20 years. Let's use it as a background music. I won't get copyright strike. That showed me. But then again, I was thinking, hey, maybe I'll be making more music, so I will be adding to it. So, you know, the playlist will be getting better and bigger. But it turns out that I don't have time for making music. So it's like, oh, shit. Well, and I can imagine, you know, myself and y'all getting tired of the same fucking music all the time. So maybe video game music might be the answer to, you know, tiredness. Carl says, yeah, you can just search like GameCube chill music and get that shit for like 3 hours. Ah, that type of stuff. Like lo-fi chill shit. I might test that out. It seems interesting. All right, let's get back to this, and it's saved. Okay, this is that scale of corridor. Less. It still feels a little bit claustrophobic, I'll be honest. I'm starting and it's like, holy shit, moly. But on the other hand, building like the whole dome, for example, just to have one exit, seems like an overkill. Yeah. But making it even wider seems unnecessary. Although, just looking at this screen, I feel like just because the walls are starting the way they are starting, like, I don't know how to say it. I feel like it shouldn't be just a narrow corridor. I feel like it should have a different shape. So let's get back to the editing. Modeling, cube grid, and yeah, I feel like I should just delete those walls. And let me see about, are there any, is there anything about collision here? No, not really. Fuck. So I have to go back and constantly click the collision thingy. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I feel like it should be even. Let's extrude this like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, and like a kind of triangle, I think. Maybe it will be less inducing. I know. Right now, I just realized. Oh, I cannot just build out the sequence and call it a day. I need to understand how to construct space for this game, actually. Or maybe not have walls. Fuck walls and just have it like this and you'll just fall to your death. I'm not sure. Shit, this is like such a new challenge. I never thought about the implications of that. Or maybe not such high walls. Maybe it should be just like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Maybe not that high walls. Because we are not escaping from like a laboratory or something like this. Or at least not yet. Huh. I'm not sure. Damn, that's like... That's not easy. All you levels designers out there, that's up to you how you're able to just construct the level from the scratch. And immediately grasp the space of it, etc. Ain't it easy? Give me something to code. That seems a little bit easier for me. And let's go like 1, 2, 3. Let's play around with that space, shall we? Yeah, it immediately feels a little bit less... Yeah, when I make it into more like a shape of triangle, it makes it feel like a little bit less corridory, a little bit less claustrophobia inducing, and also those high walls also are doing, I think. Yeah, so I think this is the trick. I don't know. I wonder if there's... And it's like some fucked up rain outside of the window, which is great because I have to end the stream soon and gets outside. Yay, let's go into the storm. Woo! Yeah. So let's at least try to see, okay, like let's save that. And blah 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 blah. What I wanted to have double windows. Yep, let's put them here. I might want to build a mesh for the blue thingy, for the blue window, so I could scale it easier a little bit. But whatever, for now it will, work. Let's just put it in here. Make it as big as I can. Without making it too creepy. Yeah, and this will be my door to the next thingy. So now I should select this cube grid and like do that. Let's play that. I didn't really think that I would be stopped at the first moment, but that's the way it goes. Like, I thought that I could just set up those elements and the level will assemble itself, basically. Nope. Get back to the basics. Get back to the basics, Ado. Save. Let's play. Yeah, immediately the shape of the whole thing guides me towards this. You could have like some vista thingies in here. This doesn't have. This could also be like a semi-transparent wall or like some other type of barricade or whatever, right? I can actually enter through it. Yeah, this is like more like it. Okay, right now I'm discovering some probably obvious truths about level design. But as I said, I'm a C++ programmer, not a level designer, so this is all fresh to me. You're seeing it raw, how someone experienced a completely new skill set for the first time. That I didn't even place any too much gameplay mechanics into here. I'm just trying to understand how to construct the space around the player for the given prototype so I will not feel claustrophobic. Also, I just started thinking about maybe it should be like a space inside of the space when you are inside of something way bigger or something to not create the sense of like claustrophobia or whatever. I don't know. I'll have a lot to think about, you know, during shower or while going to sleep about level design. On the next stream, I will also try to go create the sequence and maybe create like a small blueprint library to deal with like scale, rotation, and transform animation driven via just a regular Unreal curves, so I could play them independently of, like, I could have curves independent from what they are actually animating, right? For those prototypes. It will be cool, I think. Alright. So I guess that's it for me for today. Next stream I hope to have on next week on Sunday. But I really want to invite you all to my Discord. That's where I announce when I will have the stream. Usually it is... I'm trying to stick to the schedule of Sundays, but last 2 months it wasn't easy. But it seems like right now, going to the last quarter of the year, it will be easier to get them consistently on Sunday. Yeah, I guess that's it. We'll be pretending to be level designers more and do a couple of blueprint scripting, a little bit of blueprint scripting next week on Sunday. It was nice to have you all in here. Nice to have you here, Coward. Nice to have you here, Zibi the Zebra. Yeah, nice to have you here, IGS Ghost. So, without further ado, I'm out. I hope you guys have a nice weekend and a good weather outside, because right now it's fucked here. So, I hope you guys have a nice weekend. I wish you all well, and I hope to see you guys on Sunday next week. Bye bye.